Maybe for my intro for this video, I should just try doing a bunch of Winnie the Pooh impressions? Oh, bother. So Saving Mr. Banks. So Goodbye Christopher Robin is kind of a biopic about A A Milne, the guy that created Winnie the Pooh. It's about his relationship with him and his family, primarily his son, who I believe he calls Bugsy Moon? I think that was it. But whose real name is Christopher Robin. He's the basis of Christopher Robin from the Winnie the Pooh books. And so it's the creation of that and them bonding and them getting ripped apart by the media and the hype that was created by Winnie the Pooh, which was interesting to see because this is a time before Star Wars, before the Beatles. This was like 1920s to 30s, I believe. And Winnie the Pooh was one of those things that really like took over the world, especially England. Like it really took over that country. It was a bright point of optimism that occurred shortly after World War I, which another big part of this movie is that A A Milne is having this like PTSD about World War I. And if you combine that with kind of the lighthearted stuff involved with Christopher Robin and the creation of Winnie the Pooh, it doesn't always create for the smoothest ride in the whole world. The people in the movie are pretty good. I don't know the name of the kid that plays Christopher Robin, but he did a pretty good job. There were some scenes in particular, like later in the movie, when he's starting to like crack under the stress of the whole Winnie the Pooh thing. He was good. He really sold me on it. A couple times he got kind of whiny. Like he fringed on annoying, but he never fully got there. The other people in the cast were good. Donald Gleason plays A A Milne, Margot Robbie plays his wife, and then Kelly MacDonald, aka the Grey Lady from Harry Potter, she plays their nanny. They were all good, and props for this movie for its transparency, because A A Milne and his wife, I don't really see them getting Parent of the Year trophies anytime soon. Especially with his wife. Oh my gosh, sometimes these people are terrible. And it's still early in the days of the media and press and a big event thing like Winnie the Pooh. So at this point in time, they hadn't learned from the Macaulay Culkins and the Jake Lloyds, and they don't see how kids can crack under the stress of something like this. So it's kind of a bummer seeing Christopher Robin like that. It is nice for A A Milne because he's able to kind of get his mind off of some of the stuff that happened to him in the war by bonding with his son, but ultimately that stuff did come at a price because later on their relationship kind of splinters because of Winnie the Pooh. But like I was saying earlier, this movie's pretty uneven. It can't really balance the wartime dramatic stuff with the lighthearted Winnie the Pooh stuff. And I'm not gonna say that this movie should have picked one thing to focus on because, like, you know, Saving Mr. Banks had a nice blend of drama and fun. There was a way to do it with Goodbye Christopher Robin. They didn't really hit it. And the first like hour of this movie it was rough. It was really slow. The second hour of this movie is when you start to get into the creation of Winnie the Pooh and like the stuff that you really came to see in this movie. And the first hour is setting all that up, and it's really not that interesting. I think the strongest part of this movie is probably that last like 10-15 minutes when all the resolution's happening. Although they do frame the entire movie around this framing device that I don't really want to give away. But it's one of those things where it's like the end of the movie is at the beginning, and then they're like, hey, you want to know how we got here? Well, here's the story. And then at the end of the movie, you're like, okay, that's how we got here. But then something else happens at the end of the movie that kind of renders that whole framing device pretty obsolete, and a lot of the emotion that was gained from that device is just gone. I ultimately did like the resolution. I just felt like that framing device was really unnecessary. I feel like Goodbye Christopher Robin is really one of those movies that's just the definition of it's okay. Some good acting, some acting that kind of feels like it's in a stage play, a really slow first half, a pretty good second half. This movie's really uneven. Would I watch it again? Probably not. I was kind of looking forward to this movie as well. And the movie wasn't a complete waste. Like, there was definitely good in this movie. It was just kind of boring. At the end of the day, I would say it's worth checking out, but maybe wait till like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that. But I know this movie's been out for a few weeks, so if you have seen Goodbye Christopher Robin, let me know what you think of it down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, you can click subscribe and check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.